Hola. Mi motocicleta.
This is probably the most unique parking space I've ever been given on this trip. Too bad I have no room for souvenirs. Welcome to Motorbike Explore. Today, I'll be leaving the city of Quito and the equator behind as I continue southward through the rest of Ecuador. On the way, I'll be stopping by a famous lake-filled volcano named Quilatoa, which is at an elevation of 12,800 feet or just shy of 4,000 meters. From there, I'll continue riding towards the small village of Salasaca and will stay on a farm owned by an indigenous family. Woo! She started up on the first try. Thank goodness. I ended up staying in Quito for a month. I guess I just needed a break from all the traveling to work on some videos and recharge my own batteries. Solo traveling every day can get exhausting, lonely, and depressing at times. Extending your stay in some places gives you the opportunity to relax a little, immerse yourself in the local culture, and make longer-lasting friendships with other travelers. How long you decide to stop for is entirely different from person to person. Just beyond those mountains over there should be Volcano Quilatoa. This is Lake Quilatoa, formed by a caldera during the last known eruption in 1280 AD. You can walk down to the water by taking a very steep footpath covered in loose sand and silt. Reluctant tourists not acclimated to the altitude also have the option of hiring a horse or donkey. I took the option of walking down and back up. It gave me time to really soak in the beauty of this amazing natural wonder. For the more adventurous and athletic type, the area is full of hiking trails that lead to different villages. Be sure to Google the Quilatoa Loop if you're looking for a multi-day trek. The hike back up was incredibly challenging. It took me 45 minutes to walk down and 2.5 hours back up because of the thin air. But I made it in one piece with a smile. Even if you decide to just stay at the top to enjoy the panoramic views, you will not be disappointed. Back on the Pan American Highway, I pointed my bike towards the city of Ambato, which will be about another 2-hour drive on smooth pavement. If you enjoy riding off the beaten path, there are plenty of dirt and gravel trails the further away you are from the highway. And if you decide to pitch up a tent for the night, be ready with some warm gear. The area is high in elevation and overnight lows hover just above the freezing mark consistently all year long. I've just reached the city of Ambato, which has a population of about 178,000. It was destroyed in a large earthquake back in 1947 and was subsequently rebuilt to more modern standards. Ambato is just an hour and a half away from the very popular town of Baños, where visitors can explore waterfalls, steaming hot springs, endless hiking trails, and an active volcano called Tunguragua. I've now reached the area of Salasaka and am looking for my farm stay. It's kinda nice to get away from all the noise of a city and into some peace and quiet. There's lots of farming and livestock in the area, and I've learned that the locals are indigenous and speak Quechua rather than Spanish. This should be interesting. Well, I guess this is the place. There is no sign with a name that I can see. Only one way to find out. Turns out I had the right place after all. The owner was really concerned about my bike and said I can leave it in her shop. What a sweet lady. After settling in, I decided to take a self-guided tour. I recorded some of it in case you decide to stay here as well. There are both private rooms and dormitories available. The construction of the building is basic, but done very beautifully. Reminds me of being in an old log cabin. Here is the dormitory where I stayed. There's no heat in the building, which was not a problem during the day, but once the sun went down, the thermometer did as well. I took full advantage of the wool blankets left in the room. The following morning, when the owner asked me if I wanted breakfast, I should have chosen my response a little more carefully. I guess tengo hambre means you will get a feast. During breakfast, I did a little trip planning. Turns out I'll be riding past the very unique Mount Chimborazo. I'll tell you why it's unique once I get on the road. I think I'm going to ride all the way down to Cuenca for a few nights' stay. I'll need the rest because it will be a long 6-hour drive for me today.
Ya, muchas gracias. Ya, gracias. Hasta luego. Ya, chao. Gracias.
Wow, that was such a memorable experience staying overnight on a working farm run by a local indigenous family. I'm so glad to have chosen it over a traditional hotel. The Salasacas people supplement their income by selling handcrafted clothing, jewelry, rugs, and other various artisanal goods at nearby markets. So if you have time in your travel itinerary, it would be a good area to pick up some souvenirs and enjoy the beautiful countryside. Okay, there's my first glimpse of Mount Chimborazo, the tallest mountain in the world. I know, you're thinking Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. And you are correct, but only when it is compared to above sea level. There are a couple of ways to measure how tall mountains are. See, the Earth is not perfectly round and is widest near the equator. Mount Chimborazo is the tallest mountain when measured from the center of the Earth to its summit. But because using the above sea level measurement as a standard, Mount Everest is still the king of mountains. A little bit of food for thought. Ecuador is really blowing my mind right now. The scenery is so beautiful, the people very friendly, and the culture absolutely amazing. The roads have been perfect so far, and the cities are surprisingly clean. It's a shame there's not much of the country left as I make my way down to Peru. Alright, I've just arrived at the outskirts of Cuenca. Let's see how lost I get while trying to find my hostel. Traffic seems pretty light, so hopefully no issues. According to my phone's GPS, my hostel should be around here somewhere. This is it. Whew. I actually didn't get lost. That's a surprise. And it looks like they have an attached garage. Hopefully there's space for my bike. After settling in, I hit the streets to explore this charming city of around 330,000. The historic center of Cuenca is considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its colonial Spanish architecture dating back to the 16th and 17th centuries. I ended up staying here for 2 whole weeks because there was so much to see, also because the accommodations and food were very cheap. The vibe is really relaxed here and the city is very clean. I found myself many afternoons walking in the park alongside Rio Tomabamba. You can even visit ruins here dating back to Inca times. During my extended stay, I made friends with a few other travelers back at the hostel, and together we explored Cuenca's nightlife. We came across this crowded bar that happened to have an open jam session. The jazz musicians here are really good. Such good times. Two weeks in Cuenca went by quickly, and now it's time to hit the road again. After some trip planning, I've decided to head for Vilcabamba for my next destination. I found an inexpensive campground situated on a hilltop that may provide some nice mountain views and nighttime stargazing.
I'm gonna miss this place. Yeah.
Hey man, good meeting you.
Same here. Maybe I'll see you in Vilcabamba.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you know. Send you a message, alright?
Alright, man.
Yeah, man.
Alright. Hasta luego.
Good to go.
Gracias.
As I said earlier, solo traveling does get lonely and depressing at times, but every now and then you make new friends that you connect with. While I was here in Cuenca, I met 2 other travelers from the United States. Kevin, who was on a motorcycle, and Jeff, who was backpacking. I ended up bumping into those guys more than once in different countries throughout the rest of the journey. We are all going in the same general direction, so when we were in close proximity, we would just meet up again and again. I rarely meet other travelers from the States, so after meeting Jeff and Kevin, we had a lot in common and a lot to talk about. We shared life experiences, both good and bad, laughed about our childhoods, chatted about current events, music, our past girlfriends or current ones, and of course we had a lot to share about our love of travel. We became very close while we were in Cuenca, so every time we did get together, we picked up right where we left off. To me, that's a characteristic of a good friendship. So now, the road is starting to get a little less lonely. Some of the best things in life aren't planned, but you do have to put yourself out there. Put yourself out into the world and let it take you. You never know who you'll bump into. Safe travels, everyone, wherever they may be, and have a wonderful day.